Hello friends and welcome to this EMR Rounds and today we will discuss on a very important commonly faced clinical condition comes to ophthalmology by every ophthalmologist, that is corneal ulcer. So corneal ulcer is very vast topic to cover in a single EMR round. So today I will focus on the very essential things you must perform and you should record whenever you are facing an corneal ulcer. So we will confine our discussion only to the key areas. So we have a 60-year-old male patient coming to us with complaints of pain, redness, watering and discharge on his left eye for the past 3 months. So it's a long time. For past 3 months he's having these complaints and he's a farmer. He's a farmer, 60-year-old, and he says that while plucking a leaf or while plucking a plant, it accidentally injured his left eye. He went to a local ophthalmologist. He was on and he's still on moxifloxacin eye drops and natamycin eye drops. So moxifloxacin is an antibiotic, natamycin is an antifungal. So what is a corneal ulcer in its simplest terms? It is nothing but it is a combination of an epithelial defect where there is a defect or a loss of epithelium of corneal layers with infiltrate. Infiltrate is nothing but you have these infectious materials along with inflammatory cells invading the inner parts or deeper parts of cornea. It's as simple as that is corneal ulcer. So whenever you are examining a patient with corneal ulcer, you have to describe the corneal ulcer. So from our patient, you can see from this diagram, the patient has had, edema of both upper and lower lid. There was circumcorneal congestion, CCC, circumcorneal congestion was there, which means that there is problem in the cornea or in the uveal tract. Okay, so circumcorneal congestion. So one question what they will ask is what is the difference between the circumcorneal congestion and diffuse congestion? Diffuse congestion you often seen in a conjunctivitis. Okay, when there is going to be conjunctival inflammation or conjunctival infection, you have diffuse congestion. So that is the basics of it. Now coming to the description of corneal ulcer, always mention the site, shape, size. Very very important. Site is paracentral. Some examiners would like you to draw these lines, divide the cornea into these 9 quadrants, and you ask describe the exact location of corneal ulcer. There is one way. A simpler way would be just is it central, is it paracentral, or is it peripheral? The shape for our patient was a circular shape. The size was this. Always mention the size in millimeters and mention whether it is vertical or horizontal or is the depth. So for our patient, it was a 2 mm into 2 mm vertical into horizontal, and 1.5 mm is the depth of the corneal ulcer approximately. And always define the ulcer characteristics. The 3 important characters are margin, base, and depth. We looked at the depth. Margin and base are very very important because it characterizes the corneal ulcer or it points towards the etiology of the corneal ulcer. So margins in our patient are ill-defined. An ill-defined margin, which means it's a progressing or an active ulcer. The base of the ulcer was dry and there was infiltrate. And next, the resident who saw this patient stained the ulcer. Why he stained the ulcer? Because only when you stain, you will know the exact dimensions of the epithelial defect. Because sometimes the epithelial defect will be smaller, whereas infiltrate will be larger because it is going to go deep and spread outwards. So to know the exact dimensions of the defect, you have to stain the ulcer. And he also checked for corneal sensations. Very good. You have to check for sensations and it was intact. Okay. Now all was well, but then he diagnosed the patient's left eye corneal ulcer. So far so good. He referred to cornea clinic. Perfect. But the resident missed to do one important investigation. What is that important investigation which he failed to do, which can cost him his exams or he can even cost the patient's vision? What is that one important investigation? That investigation is to do ROPLAS. What is ROPLAS? ROPLAS is a regurgitation, okay, on pressure over lacrimal apparatus. That is the whole concept, or lacrimal sac. So when you're going to press on the lacrimal sac area, if there's a regurgitation of a mucopurulent discharge from the upper punctum for our patient, what is the implication? What is the importance of that? This is our patient, okay? On pressurizing or on pressing the sac area, there was pus came out from the upper punctum, which means the sac is infected. Which means which means that there is a chronic dacryocystitis. Okay, chronic dacryocystitis, a painless swelling of the lacrimal sac which is filled with pus. What we can call it as a pyocele. Pyoceal. Now, on pressurizing this lacrimal sac, the pus came out, which means that this chronic dacryocystitis is an infective focus for the non-healing corneal ulcer. Okay, the corneal ulcer has not been healed because it is almost there for almost 3 months despite being on a broad spectrum therapy. Why it has not healed? Because there is this constant focus. There is this big reservoir of infectious material in the form of a chronic dacryocystitis, and that is why always do syringing, always do Roplas test to assess the patency of the lacrimal apparatus. So we come to the message, very important, the 10S rule. Always whenever you see a corneal ulcer, you have to record 4S and you have to perform 6S. What are those 4 S's that you have to perform? First, site. What is the site of the ulcer? Is it central? Is it paracentral? Is it peripheral? Okay. What is the size of the ulcer? Always measure in mm. Measure or assess the dimensions, vertical, horizontal, depth. Third, assess the shape of the ulcer by staining. So is it circular, is it ring shaped, or is it geographic? Circular ulcers, sometimes it can be ill-defined or very blurred margins, very important for bacterial or fungal ulcers. Ring shaped ulcers are characteristic in acanthamoeba. Geographic ulcers are characteristic in viral ulcers or herpetic ulcers. Always check for surrounding cornea, very often missed. Only when you check the surrounding cornea, you might get a clue on what could be the etiology, what could be the clinical pathogen. Especially in Pseudomonas, you have a ground glass or edematous cornea. These are the 4 S's which you have to write on the case sheet. Now, what are going to be the 6 S's that you have to perform or you have to do? First, always stain. Because why you have to stain? To assess the exact dimensions of the epithelial defect. You can see the geographic ulcer here, which is very common in herpetic ulcers. Sensations. Check for the sensations of cornea. Again, reduced in viral keratitis, reduced in neurotrophic keratitis. Very important to check for sensations. Third, assess the softness of the globe or look for the digital tension. Don't press too much. Just gently palpate the globe to see whether the globe is soft or not. A soft globe might indicate that there could be some perforation or some leak from inside. Syringing. Like in our patient, do a syringing or at least check Roplas. Check for the patency of the duct by syringing or regurgitation on pressure over lacrimal sac. The 5th S is going to be do sugars. One of the again important causes for a non-healing corneal ulcer or any non-healing ulcer in any part of the body is going to be high blood sugar, a diabetic patient. So assess the blood sugar. The 6th and the final S is always scrape the ulcer. Yes, if you're in a periphery, if you're all by yourself, you can't do any investigations, then start on broad spectrum antibiotics and refer the patient to a higher specialty. If not, if you are in a higher specialty, if you're in a hospital, where by all means you can get hold of your cultures and your microscopes, scrape the ulcer. Never start the ulcer treatment without knowing what it is. If you want to buy some time, yes, you can start on broad spectrum, but you have the facility, don't pour in, don't do polypharmacy. Scrape the ulcers, do another 2 is stain with grams or KOH, find the sensitivity or culture of the organisms, find what is the etiology, what is the cause for that ulcer and treat that ulcer accordingly. In other words, personalize the treatment of the ulcer. So if you can't remember these 10 S's, remember at least 3 S. Stain the ulcer, find the sensations and syringing. These 3 are 3 S's which you can do all by yourself without any external help or any external accessories. And on failing to do these 3 S's, you will be in another S, that is a sad state of affairs, be it in your exams or be it in clinical practice. So that is going to be the message, that is going to be the final words of this EMR rounds. It's very short, very simple. Please always remember these 10 S's. You are good to go in your career as an ophthalmologist. Thank you so much for listening. Cheers. Bye-bye.